Hello, my Teaserking family. How the heck is everybody today? I am fine. I already went swimming and I went and got lunch, and now I'm here. Say hi to Daria. And it's Jenna's birthday on the 11th. All right. So, what do we have today? Well, we always start with gold, and it is at 23.15. It's just going in it's just a small thing, but again, this is paper, so it's sometimes here it takes a big hit at 4 in the morning. 6 is okay. 10 o'clock it always takes a hit, and then it goes. Now we're looking at a noon hit, which is unusual. They're just trying to do it. It really is meaningless. This is paper. We don't care about paper. We care about physical. Silver 27.36 again, and next week's bricks. So nothing we can do. Again, the whole point is to get out of the dollar before it collapses. This is the critical part. This is basically worth zero. And they'll keep telling you the story that it has value. And then everybody's getting out of it. So that's the key with bricks. It gives you competition. And guess what? The dollar can't handle competition because it's so deeply printed that it's worthless. Anyway, the more you print, the less it's worth. We know that. And anyway, so as I like to show, go gold, beat Navy. So this is the key to the secret of the world. Buy this, retire a happy man, wealthy, and you have no risk. And in dollars, you got plenty of risk because nobody wants them anyway. All right, we won't get too much into that, but that's just the basics. So let's go to, from here we go to baseball. I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 plays yesterday. I lost Philly under 8. I won Baltimore under 8. I lost Tampa over 8. I lost Houston under 8.5. Verlander was a pig. Boston under 8 was the 10th star that won. Casey under 9 lost, and the Cubbies. So I went 1-1, 1-3, 2-3, 2-4. I went 3-4, but I hit the 10 star. I hit the 10 star like every day for a week now. So the best of the best I'm hitting. Well, he's been injured. He's Verlander come back, and we just have to wait on him. He's obviously got the injury, so we gotta stay off of him for a while. But that happens. I mean, you just then when he starts pitching well, then you get back on. So that's the adjustment you have to make. As we say, you have to be open-minded and stoic and smart enough to realize, well, we want Verlander, and then Verlander's got killed yesterday, and you realize, okay, there's something wrong with him. We'll wait until he gets better. So I'm not going to bet him the next couple times till he throws his shutout. Then I'll get back on him. But right now I can get on other players, and we will see that. So as I look at now getting today's games, they all started early for some reason. The California Angels 5, Pittsburgh 4, 7th inning. Toronto and Philly 1-1 in the fourth. Detroit 4-2 over Cleveland. And the fourth, Milwaukee 1-0 over Detroit. I still couldn't get right. Even with the 4-2 lead, if I bet Detroit, Cleveland wins. If I bet Cleveland, Detroit wins. Milwaukee 1-0 over KC in the first. San Diego 0-0 with the Cubbies. Then there's a 3-10 game, so we'll start there. Luke said gold hasn't gone up. I can't read that. Luke said gold hasn't gone up in a way like he wants. He's been in gold for 10 years. Is there a point to that or what? I don't understand the comment, Greggy John. So let's see, Miami and the Dodgers. The Dodgers minus 250 over under of 9. We get Ryan Weathers for Miami 4.54 ERA. Gavin Stone for the Dodgers 4.06 ERA. Let's see. We know Miami is a Z team, terrible ERA and no hitting, so they're the worst team. The problem is the Dodgers are 250. Now, we did one with the Dodgers because of the money line was so high. I took it over 7.5 and won. It was funny. The 5 stars, I was like 3 and 4. When the 10 star, I won. But at the end, I hit the Cubs, the Mets, the 49ers, and the Dodgers over. So I had a nice finish to my thing. So I don't know. We know the Dodgers will probably win. They're the better hitting team and a better bullpen. I don't know who Gavin Stone is. Over under 9. I would say this is also an over. So we'll start with 5-8. And my pen is running out of ink. It's too bad. I love this pen. These are Uniballs. These are the best. They're nice writing ones. I did buy a pack of 4, so let's see how many I have left. I have 2 left. Okay. So what are we going with? LA over 9. And who's bumping me? Some bullshit from Straight Talk. Okay. So it's hard to bet LA at 250, although they should kill Miami. We will see. Texas and Oakland. Texas is minus 120 over under 8. Lorenzen for Texas, 2-1 with a 3.52 against JP Sears, 2-2 with a 3.89. Texas is starting to hit. Oakland doesn't hit. Texas hits 2. Texas is a pretty good team. Oakland is really not, is more of an under team. So let's go Texas here. Don't love them. Arizona, Cincinnati. Jordan Montgomery for Arizona, 1-2 with the 5.63 against Graham Ashcraft, 3-1 with the 3. We're going to go over here. Cincy over 9. And basically, I've got 2 bad pitchers. Arizona can hit the hell out of the ball. Cincinnati doesn't hit very well, has a weak bullpen. So Arizona probably wins, but probably goes over. Baltimore, Washington. Baltimore, big favorite, 185 over under 8. Kyle Bradish, 0-0 with a 193 against Michael Parker, 2-1 with a 253. So let's see who this Bradish is. And he pitched 4 innings against the Yankees, allowed 1 run. So that's it. So he just came back. So I can't assume his 193 is any good. So we got to go to the Baltimore bullpen, which is 3-3-1. Very good. So we can go under here. Let's go. Heat going Baltimore under. Let's just go. Parker's. Yeah, let's go Baltimore. And we'll go under 8. Good bullpen. Washington's got a good bullpen, and they hit 233. Yeah, we'll see. Don't love it. Chicago, Tampa. Tampa, big 258. Tampa had over 8, didn't get over 8. I don't know if they won. I think Chicago won 5-2 yesterday or something. Flexing for Chicago White Sox, 1-3-4-8-5. Aaron Chevalier, 2-2 with the 6-1-4. I don't know why Tampa is such a big favorite. I'm going to go over here. Chicago Sox over 8. Again, I don't see a lot. Now, there's been 4 or 5 games already started, so that doesn't help. Houston and the Yankees. Spencer Spaghetti 0-3 with an 8.27 for Houston. Rodon 2-2. So we got to go Yankees here. Now, my rule of thumb, I'm going to make this the 5-star, is they beat Verlander and they kicked the shit out of him. That gives you confidence. You're like, shit, we beat Verlander. Who's this guy? Spencer Spaghetti 0-3 with an 8.27. The way the Yankees will kill him. So let's go Yankees. That's the 5-star. Texas and Oakland. Texas a 125 favorite over 8. Jack Leiter 0-0 with a 17 ERA against Osvaldo Bido. Never heard of him. 0-0 with an 0-0 from the Dominican Republic. And hasn't pitched at all this year. I got to go over here. Texas. Oh, wait, this is game 2. Okay. Yeah, Texas over game 2. Over 8. So we got Texas in game 1 and Texas over 8 in game 2. That's why Bido, who's never pitched before, is pitching game 2 because this is the second game. All right. Boston, Atlanta. That was our big one. Boston under 8.5. We got the winner on the 10-star yesterday. So it was low scoring as I thought. That you had my guy, Cutter Crawford, going. We'll have to use him instead of Verlander now. And then today they got Nick Pivetta, 1-1 with a .82 against Chris Sale, 4-1 through. Okay, I like this game under 2. Go Atlanta, go under 8.5. And let's go with another 5-star on this game. Seattle and Minnesota. This was a very high-scoring game. I had Minnesota under 8.5. They played 11 or so. But I kind of got screwed in the 9th inning or bottom of the 8th or 9th. They gave up 3 runs, which went from 8 to 11, which went from under to over. So my bullpen guy came in and he was like a 10 ERA. I'm like, this is your closer? Seattle minus 110, 7.5. George Kirby, 3-2 with the 3.76 against Chris Paddock. 3-1 with the 4.78. It's hard because when we look at Minnesota, they hit 239 with a good bullpen. And when we watch Seattle, they have a really good bullpen, 298, and they hit. So they're both under teams. And do I have under pitchers, though? This is tough. See, it's hard because the pitchers say over, but the hitters say under, and you're like, I'm going to pass on it. San Fran and Colorado. We've got Joe Montana going for the Niners, 2-1 with the 1.89 ERA against Peter Lambert for Denver, 2-1 with the 5.66. So we got to go with the Niners. We got to go with Joe. He hasn't let us down in 20 years. And there you have it. The Mets and the Cards are in a delay. And let's see what's going on up top. We've got Cal 5-4 over Pitt in the 7th. We got Toronto Philly tied in the 5th, 1-1. We got Detroit 4, Cleveland 2 in the 5th. Kansas City 2, Milwaukee 1 in the 2nd. San Diego 1 in the Cubbies. The San Diego's been playing good ball. So have the Cubbies. So we got the Yankees and Atlanta under as our 5-star. We're going LA over 9, Texas, Cincinnati over 9, Baltimore under 8, the White Sox over 8, the Yanks, Texas over 8 in the second game, Atlanta under 8.5, and the Niners and the Yanks are 5-star, and Atlanta under is 5-star. That's what we got. So it's happening. Why is it difficult? Why aren't we winning? Or we're not winning as much as we do in football. And the biggest thing is there's too much with the pitching is, Verlander, you expect a low-scoring game with him, and he gives up 7 runs, and so the earned run averages and the batting averages are averages, not as concrete as a football team giving up. I very rarely see a football team who gives up 17, 18, 19-point Georgia or Utah or Illinois or Iowa. When's the last time you've seen Iowa give up more than 25 points? I mean, it just doesn't. They just don't do it. So you know what you're pretty much getting, right? Kansas City, they're giving you 18 a game. Baltimore and the pros, I mean, they don't give you a lot of points. And it's pretty consistent. And then you can see the other team, they got, they're playing Steve Young, or they're playing Tagliabue or somebody, and they can't score. So it's going to be low scoring because the offense is predicated on the quarterback who plays the whole game, not 5 innings, not pitch count. And he plays every week. So you're all the starting pitcher in football is always the starting pitcher. A little too much lemon in my water. So he's always the starting pitcher. Mahomes is the whole game. There's no pitch count, and you got Mahomes every week. So you can pinpoint Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Herbert, Young, Aaron Rodgers. You can pretty much, what you got, Josh Allen. And in baseball, you got the 5-inning bullshit. In baseball, it doesn't matter. He's the defense, but sometimes he doesn't pitch well. And then the batting average is what? I mean, is that the offense for the team? So you're going to look at that as, what the Lions scored like 27 a game. Okay. But they didn't play 5 innings. So I think what happens is this whole pitch count's throwing it off, making it extremely difficult because you don't know what the bullpen's going to do. You're not sure what the starter's going to do, but you got to assume the ERA is what the starter's going to do. So, it's an ERA. But Cutter on Boston yesterday, he's got a 1.1 ERA. And that's exactly what he did. I think they got 1 run, maybe 2 on him. So you got what you thought you were going to get. And that's always the hard part about the easy part about football and the hard part about baseball. Greg Jean, do you get your family into gold? I am my family. I mean, I give some to Daria and I'll give some to Jenna. Or I gave some to Jenna and I will give some to Daria when we meet. So if she doesn't meet me, then she won't get any gold because I'm not sending anything. I don't mail it. But in Jenna already has. When we meet, I give her as a gift instead of jewelry. I give her gold and silver. It's funny though. She says, I want a ring. And I'm like, well, yeah. When the gold goes up, you can go buy a ring. Okay. Buy her a ring. But yeah, I mean, she's into it. Um, I don't know what my ex does. I don't talk to her. So, that's it. Do you have any uncles or aunts or neighbor or niece or nephews? Not that I talk about. I don't or talk to. I have some in Canada, some cousins. Most of the aunts and uncles are dead. Um, so my dad's dead. So a lot of the older are dead, and the cousins I don't talk. They're in Canada. A couple of them. I don't talk to my brother at all. He's the biggest vampire. He's just bad news all over. I never talk to him. So no, I mean, this is my family, and Daria and Jenna are my family, and that's what I focus on. There was a guy in the pool today, and he was a vampire, and he says hi, and I'm like, nah, I don't think so. I don't want to sit here and talk to you about nothing for 20 minutes. I'm trying to relax in a hot tub. But yeah, I mean, the problem is when I got my master's, my family wouldn't listen. So I told them to fuck off. I mean, I'm learning all this stuff that I'm teaching you. And instead of them going, wow, they're like, oh, Social Security's fine, and they wouldn't listen. And so I'm learning all. It's like, look, I'm learning this. Somebody's teaching me this. It's not my thought, but this is what I've learned, and you're totally ignoring it. And I think my master's teacher is a little smarter than you guys are. So it's just very frustrating, and it's just not worth it. So I tend to. That's why I kind of hang on to Jenna and Daria. They're good people. They're good friends. They're good family, and that's why I talk to them. And that's what you learn is who makes you feel good and who do you want to spend time with. That's why I fly to meet Jenna and on trips and trying to get Daria on a trip. And that's who you want to spend your time with. So yeah, pretty much that's what I have. But yeah, I don't really talk much to my family. Well, I mean, I'm divorced, so my brother, I haven't talked to in 15 years, and I won't plan on talking to him. And I just have no need to be vampired. It's very frustrating and confusing. So don't really do much with them. Anyway, let's go to the NBA. So again, what we're expecting to happen in baseball is hard because you have an average from the pitcher where you don't really have an average. Mahomes is Mahomes. He throws 10 touchdowns, 2 picks. You're pretty much going to get that every week, and you can judge it by the defense of the other team. So in case he played Baltimore, I knew it was going to be low scoring. But since you gave me Mahomes as the dog, I had to bet Mahomes as the dog. You don't have that in baseball, a dog and a favorite like that. It's a money line. You're not getting points, and you can't tease it. So it ends up, then the bullpen gets in, and my 300 hitter goes 0 for 4, and the 100 hitter goes 2 for 3. You don't get that in football. So it's a very difficult thing in that. Football is the easiest to predict, and it's extremely lucrative for me. I try to use my principles here. So basketball, I don't even look at until now, and then it's really just the playoffs. I noticed yesterday it was both game 1, so I didn't play it. Boston wins by 35. No, 25. Yeah, Boston beats Cleveland by 25. And Oklahoma State beats Dallas by 22. No, by 105. Yeah, by 22. So did we learn anything? No, nothing at all. So now the question is, does Cleveland bounce back against Boston, and does Dallas bounce back against those OKC? And we have to see who the players are, what they did. So you look at the box scores and then determine it. I'm not going to take either team in game 2. I think Boston and OKC win game 2. It's game 3 we're looking at. So when Cleveland's down 2-0 at home or Dallas is down 2-0 at home, that's a must-win game for them. Then we look at it. Right now, I'm not crazy about betting either of them. I think they're outclassed because a good team wouldn't have lost by that. Now, Indy, New York's tonight, and New York's 8.5. Hey, Real D. OKC is big as hell big as hell every on the team at least 7 foot, or even the guards are 7 feet. Okay, but does that translate? OKC is the 1 seed, and so they beat Dallas, the 5 seed. So I wouldn't bet against OKC at home. Game 2, where I might take Dallas, is game 3 at home. The same thing. Now we have a dichotomy with Minnesota and Denver. Now, if our guy Anthony Davis is really Anthony Davis, he's as good as he says. Now Minnesota's at home with a 2-0 lead, wins, and it's 3-0. Can Denver handle them? Because I don't know. Denver, all they got is Luka Joka or Luka Brasi, and they handled them, and they can't handle Anthony Davis and these other guys. So I think many at home I think they just sweep them. We'll see. Denver needed game 2 and got blown out. So game 3 is going to be do or die, and it's at Minnesota after getting blown out twice. So usually Denver will play their best game next game, but I don't know if the matchup's favorable. So it looks like we're headed for Minnesota and Oklahoma, and we'll see. Boston, I don't know yet, against the Knicks. Willis Reed's going to play, so we will see. Havlicek's coming off the bench for Boston. They calling Anthony Edward being called baby Michael Jordan. Yeah, I heard that from Harold Meyer. Harold Miner used to be baby Jordan too, and yeah, he sucked. I don't know. Is he any good, Anthony Davis? Supposedly he's one of our students now, but we don't believe Bobby's real, so I'm not quite sure I believe Anthony Edwards is real. But we'll see. I don't know how you prove anything really here, but we'll see. They're like Bobby, I know is real because I'll say some stuff and we talk baseball and he knows it. So somebody who just, and why would you choose Bobby Bowe out of the thin air? Anthony Edwards here, I don't know. I never heard of him. And is he good? Okay, maybe. But in this league, it doesn't matter because you can't play defense and guard him. What looking for the MLB season so far? MLB, I don't know if Verlander came back, had one good game, and then sucked yesterday. I don't know. Yankees look pretty strong. Cleveland looks pretty good. If I go through here's my A teams: Atlanta, Baltimore, and Boston, Cleveland, Kansas City, the Dodgers, although they always choke in the playoffs, the Yankees, Philadelphia looks good, and Texas. Those are the A teams based on runs scored and runs against, right? So Cleveland's 168, 125, and then Colorado is the Z team at 123, 200. So they score 123, give up 200. So Colorado looks like the worst team in the league. Miami's right up there with them. And I don't have a lot of Z's. And the White Sox, They've scored 100 runs, given up 182. So we're trying to figure out. It's hard because it's averages. The longer into the season we get, the more I can trust the starting pitchers. But I need him to go 7 innings. Like this 5 inning crap, this 100 pitch count crap it's a joke. How do you, because you don't know what you're going to get on the bullpen. So I'm starting to take notes on the bullpen. Like here, I said, Minnesota weak bullpen against Boston. St. Louis weak hitting and a weak bullpen, and Cincinnati a weak bullpen. So I'm going in, and when I see the bullpen, when I go into the box score, I see a 5.0 or a 10.0 pitcher, and if this is your closer, you're in big trouble. So the stats start forming a little easier, since the problem is it's every day, and it's impossible to really go every day. You can bet, like Philly's on a hot streak. I think Oakland got on a hot streak. It's over, but they won 5-6 in a row. Phillies beat the Niners 3 times. So I think you're just looking for teams that get on a streak. I think the Yankees have won 4 in a row. They swept the Tigers. Look for them to go. And really, that's what you're looking at, is playing streaks. Hot pitchers, Cutter Crawford on Boston, I think. He's on Boston. It's like a 1 ERA. So he's pitched 5-6 games. So there's a few pitchers that have now like 5-0 with a .89 ERA. And I'm like, yeah, that's my guy. So that's starting to crystal clear in me. And you got to be careful of the Verlanders and the Scherzer. Scherzer's still injured. Verlander. Kershaw hasn't pitched yet. Ohtani hasn't pitched yet. I don't know if he's just going to play DH or what, or is he just going to open up a casino in Vegas and just bet on sports? I mean, maybe he'll just do that. Have you bet any run lines this year? Well, yeah, baseball's all run lines. Yeah, I mean, my picks, I give you my picks. They're just the 5 and 10 star. Like yesterday, Philly under 8 lost, but Baltimore under 8 won. My 10 star was Boston under 8, a very small bet. So I am differentiating the pick from if it's a 5 or 10 star. So on the 5th, I had 3 picks that were 5 stars. I won all 3. Saturday or Sunday, no, the 5th, Monday then. That was Sunday. Monday I hit Tampa over 8, and I lost on Oakland over 7.5. So I break even a lot. So at this point, I'm not. Yesterday I had 3, 6, 7 picks. I went 3 and 4, but I won the 10 stars, so I broke even. So it's not, I'm still today. I got the Yankees and Atlanta under are the bets. They're very small bets. Atlanta under 8.5. So that's where I'm at with it. Again, I look into why I lose and why I win. So even though I picked Boston under 8.5 yesterday and it won, and I go, why? Well, because Cutter Crawford has his 1.0 ERA and he shut him out. So, okay, he stayed true. I'm getting the ERAs, so I'm understanding the bullpens. And then the problems, the batting average, the best players, gets 3 hits and 10 at bats. So he's got a 300 batting average, but then he'll go 0 for 4 in the game. And you're like, fuck, I'm expecting this guy to get me some hits. Doesn't get me hits. And then the other team, the guy's hitting 122 and he goes 2 for 3 with the double. And you're like, fuck, I mean, you got to be kidding. And that's what gets you is the high hitter, your expected outcome on him is he gets a few hits. And the weak hitter, you're expecting nothing from, and then he gets you hits. But if you think about it, it's an average, and that's what you should be getting. So the 300 hitter gets 3 hits and 10 at bats. So when that happens, we don't know, but pretty much you're getting 3 hits. And the guy who's hitting 120 gets like 2 hits and 10 at bats. Not even, he gets 1.5 hits and 10 at bats. So, okay, he got him. So he's done for the next week. This guy's not hitting. And it's amazing when I go through the teams, how many, when you look at the starting lineup, okay, you got 9, you got at least 5 that aren't hitting 210, a couple that are not even hitting 100. And then the managers these are the worst managers. They've totally missed the concept, right? So don't you want the best hitter to be up the most amount of times so he gets the bat more, but he's your big hitter? And I'll see some starting lineups and the leadoff hitter's hitting 210, or some you'll have 300 and a 290 and a 270, and the cleanup hitter's hitting 210. It's like Aaron Judge. He doesn't hit, but he hits a home run when he does hit. Well, I wouldn't have him bat cleanup, maybe 6 or 7. I need to stack my lineup. I always did it when I did my daughter's fast pitch team. I basically I found the best 2 hitters, and they were my leadoff. My leadoff and second hitter were my best hitters because I wanted them up the most. And then it was like, okay, can you hit? And I had a really good 4 hitter. And then it was like, okay, what do we do after that? Like, shit. But that's all you can do. But I would certainly have my best hitters up twice. And I wouldn't put a 190 hitter batting 4th or 5th or 3rd, ruining the rallies. So that's what you learn. And it's I played ball, so I know. You can either hit or you can't. And if you can hit, then you got to be batting up in the top of the lineup. And if you can't hit, you shouldn't be playing. I mean, if I couldn't hit 200, I wouldn't have played. I think I was like a 300 hitter, but this was pony and call. I was a great hitter in Little League, and then I went on to pony, which was 13, 14, and I hit pretty well. And then I played 15, 16, and then I had to work. And I was okay. I could hit. I pitched a little, but I didn't like it. I was more of a shortstop type or second baseman. I could hit. I remember I hit a triple off one of my good friends from Little League. So I'm facing him with the bases loaded. And this is, so this is 13, 14-year-old. So now you're throwing a little faster, and half the, kids that suck are out. Now you just got the good players. And strike, ball 1, pass ball. So the bases are loaded. Ball 1's a pass ball, runner scores. The next pitch, he's trying to throw it hard because he knows I can hit, and he throws it over my head or over the, wild, another run scores. Then it's 2-0. Then he throws another wild ball, and now it's 3 runs have scored. I haven't even swung yet. And so he kind of grooves the next one because it's 3-0, and I crush it. I hit it to deep right center. There's nobody there, and I get a triple on it because my manager had his head up his ass because he doesn't think I'm fast, but I'm very fast. Well, I'm fast. I could have scored easily on it, but he held me at third, so I didn't play for him too much more. But I really crushed the ball all the way to the pool, which was like 330, and that was my highlight. So. That's my happy place. When I need to go to my happy place is that triple off of that guy. But I crushed it. And I hit a lot to right center because I would close my stance, and then it was just kind of swing like that, and I could nail it. I could do it every time. I have no idea how. You don't really see the ball. You just feel it. But I'm good at feeling. So pitch came, I just crushed it. It was like a real good golf, when you really crush the golf ball and you don't feel it. That was the feeling I got. Really nailed it. The Phillies are doing great. Well, they're hot right now. Real D, would you agree baseball has to be the most hardest sport to play? No, I think golf is. Golf's very difficult because you can hit a good shot in golf and get a bad bounce. And you've got to hit the ball far on the drive, but then when you're putting and you're chipping is very much touch. So if I'm just going to crack away my driver, But when I'm on the green and I got to hit a 15-foot putt, I got to be able to have touch to hit the ball 15 feet 2 inches so I can get it in the hole. I always yell at people. I go, well, you'll never make it if you don't get it all the way to the hole. It can't go in. If you go 3 inches by, it could accidentally get in the way. Baseball, either you can hit or you can't. If you can't hit, you can't play. There's no way you can learn how to hit. It is, and that's what when I hear these like major leaguers and the pitching coach is trying to move them around, like, fuck it. Either you can hit, don't, like, I would never let anybody touch me. I had a closed stance. So in the fact that my left side was in front of my right and like this, and the pitch would come and I would just hit it to right center most of the time, even in softball. But I could hit, and you couldn't teach it. You just did it. You could see the ball coming, and you could swing where the ball's at, and you could hit it. And that's basically baseball. The fielding's easy to me. The throwing was easy if you don't throw your shoulder out or your elbow. But really, it's the hitting. But in golf, you got to hit the ball. It's a tiny ball. You got to hit it straight. You can't hit it in the woods. You can't hit it in the sand. You can't hit it in the water. And then you get it on the green, and now you got to putt it. And you got to learn how to read greens, and you always want to go uphill. And so I think golf's I started golf about 14. I started baseball at 5. And baseball I had down cold. Golf, it's very hard to get down. I eventually got it pretty close. But I shot in the 70s, but it was very difficult. It's a lot of rhythm and technique. Where baseball, you're basically just like softball. I probably hit 800 in softball. It was so easy for me. The ball would come in, I would crush it. I would hit it so hard you couldn't even see it, and yeah, it was a piece of cake. I could do it all the time. So I would say golf, real D. Greg, I think say hockey is the hardest. Don't know. I played floor hockey. That was a piece of cake. I never skated, but if I learned how to skate, hockey wouldn't be hard for me. Golf, you have no contact to injure you, at least. Well, look at Tiger Woods. He's pretty injured. They get injured because they swing too hard. So you get wrist injuries, you get elbow, you get shoulder. The biggest mistake, thank you, Greg and John. The biggest mistake in the biggest mistake in golf is building muscle. You're not supposed to. You're not supposed to be Arnold Schwarzenegger. You're supposed to be thin. You're not supposed to have big muscles here. Like I have a good golf body. I'm okay, but I'm not like Arnold Schwarzenegger. He'd be a terrible golfer because it's all based on club head speed. The faster you can swing the club, the longer the ball goes and the more accurate it goes because you're trying to get the club back to square. So you need to rip it through. So it's got to be, as you're going back, you turn your hand over, and then as you're coming through, you return your hand. Most people don't. Most people do this, and then they kind of do this. That's why they slice it. You've got to then turn it back. So it's got to rotate, right? And they don't rotate it. And you got to rotate it right at the ball, which is why it's the hardest sport, because you can swing, but you've got to make sure when you do this, that when you get back to the ball, you turn it over. And it's very difficult, the timing of the turnover. But you can't be big and bulky like that. Brooks Koepka and even Tiger Woods was way too muscular. Rory, he can't win because he's too much. They work out with weights like a bunch of idiots. You're not supposed to. Look at Ben Hogan. Look at Arnold Palmer. Even Nicklaus. Nicklaus had thick legs, but he didn't have Arnold Schwarzenegger. And so that's why Tiger Woods has all these injuries, because they're missing the boat. This is not a game you use weights to build up. That hurts you. And that's where you get all these injuries, the back, the wrists, the shoulders. So there's a lot of injuries in golf. especially if you play it too much. You can't play it that much. You cannot play golf 7 days a week. It's just too hard on you. You get too tired, and it's like a rhythm. So you go back and through and back. But some days you're tired or you're sore and you can't do back and you can't get the timing down. So golf's a very much timing to hit the ball. So you're trying to swing it as fast as you can and then go you're 40 yards off the green and you got to chip it and you can't be as fast as you can. You got to hit it 40 yards, which is extremely difficult. Then you got an 8-foot putt, which you have to make, which is extremely difficult if you're on the wrong side of the hole. So if you're on the top hitting it down, you're fucked. So you always play the hole backwards and you go, how do I land my approach? So when I hit my second shot onto the green, I leave myself an uphill putt. That is golf from a chess standpoint. It is about leaving yourself an uphill putt. If you can leave yourself an uphill putt, then make sure it goes about 6 inches past the hole. Most people are pussies and they don't hit the golf ball past the hole. They don't get it to the hole. Well, how many putts are you going to make if you don't get it to the hole? 0. Get it to the hole. Go 6 inches past. Shit, if you can't make the 6 incher coming back, you shouldn't be playing golf. So that's what most people do. They don't visualize the putts. I visualize the putts in my head. So when I'm looking at the ball, I'm seeing it go in the hole. Now I putt, I'm already seeing my target. Well, I guarantee you most of these people don't do it. And they always leave it short. Look how many you see short from the pros. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. They don't have a good good putting logic. They miss the putting logic. Like in football, what do? Here's the offense, here's the defense, here's the court. We understand everything. We don't want a quarterback that throws out. So we've got the technique down in football and in economics, we got the technique down. Get out of dollar, go into gold. That's the technique. Don't leave the ball short. That's the problem in golf. They leave the ball short. They leave it downhill instead of uphill and all that stuff. Well, thank you, Greg and John. Appreciate that you love the show. I try to make it entertaining as much as it is educational. And it could be, I sent out something to Spectrum or something, not Spectrum or Spectre or something about marketing, like getting the word out. I'm doing an economics show. Now the website's all set. I changed one thing. So now $25 for one class. And depending on how many people sign up, then I would say, well, what's a good time for you guys? And then I would either make it 2:00 in the afternoon or I'll make it 7:00 at night. Whatever works best. On the weekends, probably 10, 11 o'clock. I'm going to start off with economics and then figure out something to do with football. I'm thinking of doing a similar thing where, maybe $50, and then we'll walk through the college games. And then same thing in the pros. We'll walk through the pro games, and I'll give you my picks and analysis instead of you buying them on the site. $100 for the week. Well, we'll go through that, and then I'll do it like I'm doing here. But it'll be a class instead of just giving you my top play, and then you got to go buy the rest on site. So I'm debating about that. Anyway, that's what I'm headed to. So this one thing, I went into internet advertising, and it came out with Spectrum or Spectre or something. Hopefully it's Spectre, and then they'll force everybody to buy it and really just see. In other words, getting my name out. What I don't understand, I'll do an economic show and, I get 50 viewers, and then I look at some of these and, the guy's got 200,000 views, and I'm like, what the fuck why is everybody going to that? Nobody's going here. I'm giving you much more valuable information, but nobody knows about me. So I'm not getting enough views. And if I want to teach, I got to get a lot more views and a lot more students. And then I figured 25 for a class uh, should be reasonable. It's not too cheap where they'll think, oh, he doesn't know anything. He's only charging 25. Um, but then they'll get it, and then I can get enough students. So that's my goal with that. All right, NBA, we're at. So today we got one game. We got Indy and New York. New York won the first game, laying 4.5. I don't know if they covered. I think it was a close game. Here they are again, New York against Indy. New York 4.5 to 18.5. It's funny. This the playoffs. They're on TNT. I don't even get TNT. I can't even watch the NBA playoffs because you're not doing NBC or whatever because they don't even want you because you're such a bad product. 4.5. So based on game one, you would think Indy in game two because they have to win. But I'm going to wait on this till game three. So if all the 1-0s go to 2-0s because they're a little bit better and they're at home and they should take care of business, it's game three when all these teams are down 2-0 that you start attacking Cleveland, and we'll see about Indy, and we'll see about OKC and Minnesota. I don't know what to do because Minnesota won both in Denver, so it's hard to bet Denver yet. That's the game. That's the game they need is game three. If they don't win game three, they're going to get swept. And OKC Dallas. Okay, OKC won at home, but Dallas beat San Diego 4-2. So Dallas should have something. Is OKC that good? They are the 1 seed, but the way it looks, Denver's not the 2 seed. It looks like Minnesota's the 1 seed. So we don't know. We'll have to start looking at some box scores. I didn't see much on Denver. It was Jokic. That was it. They had nobody else who scored, and they couldn't stop Anthony Davis here. So we will see. So yeah, it's curious. Anthony Davis stopped by. I thought maybe he knows Bobby, and Bobby told him to go check it out. I don't know, but we'll see. We don't know where's Bobby again. I have in my intuition of an INFJ. I see him sick, and that's why he's not on. He's sick or in a rehab or in a hospital or somewhere that he's trying to get healthy. That's how I view it. That's my view. It was like Daria. I thought she was somebody was sick, and it was actually her that was emotionally sick. She was depressed. She was emotional. So it was a depression, and she didn't want to tell me about it. Now that she told me about it, I said, okay, I'm still here. I didn't go anywhere. You can tell me that she's not used to Russian men. She's used to Russian men who don't give a shit. Russian men don't care about their women. They only use the women. And I care about her, and she's not used to it. So she's, oh, I'm scared to tell you. And I says, well, if you don't tell me, I will leave you quicker than if you tell me. I can understand if you tell me. But if you don't, and you don't talk to me, then I'm like, well, how hard is it to talk to me? So when she gets depressed or emotional is when she doesn't talk to me because she doesn't want to tell me what's going on, which makes me believe she's honest because she doesn't want to lie, so she's not going to say anything. But I think I'm getting her over that where she can tell me. And I don't know. I think it was a money issue. She doesn't want to keep coming to me for money, which is good, but she doesn't have much and she doesn't make much works at a call center. How much can they make? So she's happy she's making money, but she's got her daughter to take care of. And I help her with rent, which I did. And I got my Social Security Monday. I think I told you it's the second Wednesday of the month. I keep getting confused because I get paid on Monday. And when Monday was still April, I said, "Oh, I'm not going to get paid for another week." But it's Wednesday, and the Wednesday was the first, and now the 8th, and that's why I got paid on the 6th, because it's the second Wednesday was the 8th. So I'm like, "Oh, okay, good. Now I can pay your rent. Here you go." So we got to keep our eye on basketball. And again, I'm not going to play New York Indy. Let's watch. I would take Indy if I wanted to play it, but I don't like the matchup. It's a bad day. Baseball, nothing really exciting. The Yankees are hot. Philly's hot, but they're already on. Let's see if Philly's got a score. Ooh, Toronto's beating Philly 4-1. Look out. Toronto 4, Philly 1, Detroit 4, Cleveland 2 in the 8th. KC 2, Milwaukee 1 in the 4th. San Diego 1, the Cubbies 0 in the 4th. Miami and the Dodgers. Okay, we got the Dodgers over 9. They just started. Upcoming is Texas Oakland in a half hour. I don't know why they stagger these starts. So you got 6:40 Arizona, Cincy, 6:45 Baltimore, Washington, 6:50 Chicago. It's like, what the fuck? 7:05 Houston and the Yankees, 7:07, 7:20, 7:40, 8. What the fuck are they doing? These people are out of their minds. California beat Pittsburgh 5-4. I think I had it over this morning. I looked at it. So I hit the pool. Then I stopped for Tony, got a burger. And I'll have a steak tonight. I made the mistake. I thought I bought a roast and stuck it in the freezer. And so yesterday or the day before, I go, oh, I'm going to cook my roast. I'll have meals for the next 3 days. And when I opened it up, it was 2 New York strips together, not a roast. So I cooked them both and I ate one, but I don't like eating them back to back. It's too much meat. I get the gout and everything else. So I ate one the other day. I didn't eat one yesterday, and then I'll eat this one today. And today is what, Wednesday, I think. I don't even know. I'm losing track of my days. So I'm hoping to get the classroom for economics going. God knows people need it, especially with, we'll see what happens with Brics. If we go to, so let's go to my videos that I've been watching. So Douglas McGregor, the colonel we like to watch, is basically saying the war is over, the Russians win, but they won't surrender. The U.S., Britain, and France won't surrender. They want to keep spending money, which shows you they don't know economics, because you don't want to, wars aren't good. I don't know why they think wars are good from an economic standpoint. It doesn't help you. It's a big cost. You got to build the ammunition and the rockets and the tanks and the planes. We know the Tomahawk missile needs 500 ounces of silver in it, which then you start realizing that's one reason they're keeping the price down. But you can't. I mean, as supply runs out, you're going to look for it. You're going to have to start paying more, and you're going to say, fuck COMEX. And we still are on this stupid COMEX ride, but basically Russia has won the war. Basically, it's not even close. They're up 72-0. And we're just waiting for the end. I mean, we're like MI6 and the CIA need to end it, need to say, look, there's nothing else here. All this money is just money laundering. The problem is all the lobbyists. So the defense contractors want war so they can sell their missiles and rockets and artillery. and ammunition and guns and stuff like that. And so they always want a war. And so since the government is controlled by the lobbyists, not the other way around, we want to keep the war going, keep the war going. So if you want more money from me, keep the war going. And like idiots, they sell the soul. Like me, if I got into government, I wouldn't take a penny. You tried to give me money as a lobbyist, I'd tell you to go fuck off. Now, if you want to give me gold, then it would be a different story. No, but I would come in with my own set of values, which is what you know me to have. And I'm going to do what's best for the country, what's best, not what's best for me, and certainly not what's best for you. So if you think you're going to pay me off, I don't get paid off. Go fuck yourself. So that's where it would be. But I wouldn't run. See, these guys run now to get the lobbyist payout. I mean, the job only pays 40, 50 grand, 60 grand a year, but the lobbyists give you $1 million. So they run to get the lobbyist money. And then they say, yeah, whatever you want. I don't care. I don't care about America. I only care about me getting this money. Why else would Biden be in politics for 50 years and have 10 houses and $80 million? And the most he ever got was what he's making now, a couple $100,000 as the president. So a lot of shady stuff that needs to be cleaned up. But if everybody is getting free money, what are you going to clean up? It's, you know what it sounds like? It sounds like Madoff and the Ponzi scheme. So along comes Madoff, says, I'll give you money and you take it. And how do you make money, Mr. Madoff? I'm not going to tell you. If you're going to ask me that question, I got to tell you, then I'm going to then take your money back. No, Mr. Madoff, I like getting the money, so I will say nothing. And you just keep paying me, and we're cool. And he kept paying him because he kept getting other people's money in. And so people took the money. Did they know it was a Ponzi scheme? Well, I'd say half the people did. If there's trouble, the 2000 tech crash, you made money on that? Really? How the fuck did you make money on that? So anybody knew anything about like stocks or how investments work, you would have known it was a Ponzi scheme. You'd have known it was a Ponzi. Like me, I knew it was a Ponzi scheme. I never got in it because my brother-in-law got in it, and he says, I'm getting 15%. And like the best interest rates were like 1. And I'm going, no, you can't. That's not legal. What you're saying to me as a guy with the master's, it's not legal. You can't get 15% when the market's bearing 3. So again, it goes back to Austrian economics. It's like saying, I have the Mahomes card and it's worth, let's say, 1,000. Let's go to here. Let's go to my Canadian club. A little bit more. So I know this is $50, and you're saying if you buy a bottle, you'll get 5,000 for it. How the fuck are you getting 5,000 when it sells for 50? There's something smelly going on that you're getting 5,000 for the bottle. So it's the same thing. You're getting a 15% return, and the best you can do is 3 or 4%. No, doesn't make sense. So I didn't get into the Ponzi scheme. He did, because I could smell as an economist and somebody who's in finance, there's no way that's possible. And he kind of said, well, it's strip malls. We're getting a lot of money on strip malls. And I'm like, no, I'm not buying that. Sorry, The Rock, I don't smell what you're cooking. And I don't know whatever happened. I'm sure he lost all his money because if he was in it. But if you can't get an answer, you can answer me. You can ask me, how do I pick football games? And I've gone through that very in depth. You know exactly how to pick football games because I've told you the key, the magic riddle of how to pick it. You got it, right? But when you ask Madoff how you do it and he doesn't give you an answer, what do you think? Was it some secret thing? And so when the 2000 stock market crashes and you're still supposedly invested in stock and you're still handing out 15%, something doesn't smell right. So, did people, I'm sure a lot of people, it's sort of, you're always gonna like not trust, right? And if you don't like here, Anthony Davis, and he says, I'm Anthony Davis. I'm like, yeah, sure you are. I don't trust him because I don't know. It's like Kelsey or Kenzie. Kenzie comes on, I'm Kenzie. Yeah, I don't know. Prove it. Send a picture. I can't. Okay. If you're really Kenzie, you'd send a picture. Darian and Jenna send pictures. They send videos. That's them. I know it. I've met Jenna. I'll meet Daria. It's them. I'm positive. So I help them, but Kenzie, I don't know. So I don't trust until I trust. Okay, yes, I met you. Yeah, I know you're okay. I trust you, but I don't trust in the beginning. So when you have the Ponzi scheme, I'd be like, well, how are you making the money? And it's 15% dead nuts every month. Really? I'm going to get $500 every month like clockwork. Now, if you've played stocks at all or bet football, it'd be like me saying in football, I'm gonna give you 15% every week. We're gonna make 15%. And you look at me like I'm out of my fucking mind. There's no way you can bet football. And some weeks you're gonna win a little bit more or a little bit less. Like, come on, you're not gonna go. You're not gonna go and win every week. It's impossible. Just as we talked Verlander yesterday, giving up 7 runs. Well, that's what happens. You assume the expected outcome, he's going to shut you down, and he gives up 7 runs. Okay, it happens. And that's my point. So, do a lot of these people realize they're in a Ponzi scheme? I would think they'd have to. If you're going to invest, you should know what you're investing in. Now, there's some idiots who just dad said to put it in there. We're just going to listen to him, like a couple of idiots. And we're not going to understand it. And we're just going to say, oh, look, the money keeps coming in. So great. But I think that's 2% of the population. I think most of the population would be leery, and they're not going to just jump in without understanding it. And when he can't give an answer, but you keep making 10%, I would think many people would not invest. And especially getting this 15% every month or every year or whatever it was. You got to be kidding. It's not possible. So if you're logical and you understand anything, you would say it's not possible. It has to be a Ponzi scheme. And that's how government is back to lobbyists. So I'm going to get a $50,000 paycheck, but I'm going to get $1 million from the lobbyists. But then I have to vote the way they want. Why am I running for government? It's just like why I ask, why are you gambling? Why are you playing the stock market? Why are you buying gold? Why are you playing blackjack or poker? Are you playing to win or are you playing for the fun? You should be playing to win everything. Just like life, just like you're on a date, you should be playing to win. You want it to go well and you want to have a good friend and see if it leads to marriage, or if you don't want to get married, just you have a good friend and off you've added somebody nice in your life. That should be the goal when you start talking to like girls, if you want a girlfriend or something. And that's the same thing with gambling, and that's the same thing. So when you're going and running for governor or senator, congressman, why? You going to represent the people, or are you going for the lobbyist payday? And you shouldn't be going for the lobbyist payday. That's a bunch of horse shit. If that's why you're running, you shouldn't be running. So I'm walking into the club and this guy's running for Senate or something, but I don't live where the club is like Wayne County and I'm in Oakland County. So I can't vote for him anyway. So he says, well, do you want to support me? And I go, well, the only thing you should be going and running for is to blow it up. Now, if you were to go in and blow up and do a Valkyrie and blow up Hitler, then I'd be supportive. If you're not going to blow it up, you're never going to change it. And that's it. And what was I? So I'm watching here the CIA with the Ukraine. If I was president, I'm thinking it's CIA gone, FBI gone, Federal Reserve gone, dollar gone. We'd go on a gold back currency. We'd get rid of the laws. I'd cut 99% of the government because it's not necessary to do it. Shouldn't be in schools, shouldn't be in roads. Should only be, as I've said, it should only be to lower taxes, a gold standard, free trade, have the Constitution that we actually follow, and lower government spend. That there must be a balanced budget. And when everybody cries about getting their shit cut, I don't care. I'm not here to hear the bitching. I'm here to fix the country. And the only way you're going to fix the country is to get on a gold standard, because right now they print way too much, and printing will make it go to zero. So anybody who disagrees, goodbye. And I'd get rid of 9/10 of government. Now, it would fix it, but can I do it? Are they going to kill me? Oh, you're on the gold standard. Let's kill them. Look what we did to Gaddafi and Saddam Hussein. Oh, we're going to kill him because he wants the gold standard. He's going to eliminate us. So I would probably, my strategy would be go to Putin. Look, I know you're very good at security, or get a Jack Bauer type and say, I need you to secure me because I'm going to try a gold standard and get rid of central bank. We'll be very good partners because I need your oil and your gold, and I need your stability and your strength. You got a good military, and you got a lot of hot girls there, so it works. That would be my strategy: is get security. So when they try to kill me, I kill them first. And that would eliminate all the bullshit of trying to assassinate me because I want to go on a gold standard and get rid of the central bank. And then I would just change a lot of things that I could. And then you would start seeing more people like me run, who are there to fix the country, not for the lobbyists. I'd get rid of the lobbyists. I don't know what they're doing there, but I would get rid of them all and say, no, it's what's good for the country, not what you're trying to pay off people. And I couldn't get rid of the military complex because it's business, but you're not going to, there's not going to be a war for you. You're going to go through unemployment just like the rest of us, buddy, just like McDonald's and Wendy's. And that's the only way you can clean up this mess, because it's such bullshit right now. That's the problem. So Douglas McGregor is the colonel, and he says that the war is over. It's just the Ukraine's or Russia's gonna go to the Odessa and to the Dnieper River, which I think is not that close to Jenna. I think she'll be okay, and then we'll go from there. So hopefully she'll be okay. Russia takes back its territory. Hope the restaurant in Odessa is still there. It was a very good one. Great salmon right off the Black Sea. Very nice. In the middle of nowhere, all of a sudden there's this gourmet restaurant, which is unbelievable. Yeah, I liked Odessa. A lot of hot girls, a lot of nice beaches. I think I told you the story. This girl on the beach just gave you towels and drinks. She was unbelievable. She didn't even know how hot she was. She was kind of like, oh, what else can I do? And I'm thinking, she wasn't here, I could marry you. But my girlfriend's sitting next to me, but she was very, very beautiful girl. And she didn't even know it. I mean, in Odessa, it's just, you're average. Come to America, you'd be in the top 1%. But in Odessa, yeah, you're just average. So let's see. BRICS, 260 billion in trade without a currency, end of the dollar. Well, the dollar, a lot of countries are trading without the US dollar. They don't want the like the sanctions that Russia got. So it scares countries going, we don't want it. Nobody trusts Biden. Everybody sees what's going on. The military sucks. And they're really worried about the U.S. has lost their minds as we have. So everybody's running to get out of it. And this is what I tell Luke. The alternative is to stay in the dollar. You're either in the dollar or you're in gold. Let the gold run. Quit worrying about the daily paper bullshit. Let the gold run. It'll run back up. These countries need gold to join BRICS to buy the BRICS back, gold back currency. So there'll be constant buying because they don't have enough gold or they don't know what they have. And Russia wants to raise the gold price. So it's all good news. So don't worry about it. Your alternative is to be in the dollar. It'll be worthless. So the U.S. is going to have a worthless dollar. We're totally fucked. So the only way out is gold. Nobody knows you have gold. The digital currency, if it's not backed by gold, is still bullshit toilet paper. So they can try that, but it's still, and nobody wants to be controlled. So you got that problem. Russia engulfs Ukraine, NATO. Okay. Yeah, that's what we were talking about. The Julius Malemo, so we're social. I had a thought about this. So we were talking about the socialism where Germany didn't do it right, but in Africa, our socialism would be better than German. And my counter is no. If it's not a free market run by the people, it can't work. It doesn't matter what fucking country you're in. Venezuela, Zimbabwe, Greece, Sri Lanka, wherever you're at, US, you cannot avoid it if the government runs the market, only if it's free market. And everybody confuses, Sweden's socialist, and I showed you that. No, they're not socialist. They have some socialist policies, but in the important start, it's the free market is what they use, which is capitalism. Capitalism is free markets, free trade, strong dollar, strong laws. That's capitalism, basically, right? Now, if you want to have Social Security or pensions and stuff like that, or help the people with medical, that is a bit of socialism in that it's the government running that market, which is totally wrong. And that makes everything more expensive. But that's not socialism per se. It's just one part of it is socialized medicine. And Canada's bankrupt because they have socialized medicine. But most countries have capitalism for most of their business. And then socialism maybe for the medical or the Social Security. And even that doesn't work. Sweden, the only thing everything's capitalism now. The only thing they do is a little bit with the helping with medical. And look at Gaddafi. He had the gold back and everything schools are free for the kids and medicine was free and retirement was free. I mean, they were going to give it to you and it was all gold. So was it socialism? No, because the gold was still capitalism. So there is a breed of both. The capitalism is the businesses in the market. Go to the grocery store and it's let the private sector work. And then the private sector makes all this money and then the government steals it and says, well, since capitalism works so well, we're then going to say, oh, you know what? We're going to have socialized medicine and we'll have Social Security. We'll have Medicare. So because capitalism works so well in the free market and Adam Smith, and if you have gold, if you're smart enough to have a gold-backed currency, you'll be explosive, right? The best time in the world is when you're on a gold standard. Let's ask the Romans. Let's ask England and France and Spain. Let's ask us from 1776 to approximately 1913. We were the most developed, richest country in the world until 1914 when basically the central bank comes in. Now, is that socialism? Well, is it a government run bank or is it free market? And I would agree that the central bank is not free market. They're trying to manage. Oh, there's my Daria. They're trying to manage the economy, the Federal Reserve. Daria's on her way home. I'm a happy camper. See, that's all I want is that I'm going to sleep. I'm headed home from work because the difference between the two, I'll get back on our subject. Jenna doesn't work, so she's always got the time in the morning to say hello and I'm doing this today and that today. And uh, Daria gets up and she goes to work for 10, 11 hours in Russia. And it's hard for her to text. And she's so nervous that she doesn't want to worry about losing her job because she was texting me at work. So it's nice. So she's doing this, or she'll say, I'm home, we're going to sleep, or I got to help my daughter with school or something. So she's good at that. And that's why when she doesn't text me, I'm like, where's the text? Because I always say to her, good morning, good night, da 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 da, as Jenna does. So when I don't hear from her, okay, for a day, but when it gets to 4 or 5 days, I get really, I'm like, what the hell is going on that you can't do what you just did for 5 days? And it's usually she's depressed and there's an issue and she doesn't want to tell me about it because she's scared, she's insecure, and that's what I will help her get over. I remember my first girlfriend in college, she was very insecure. And when I got done with her, she wasn't insecure anymore. She was very confident and secure. Because I teach them there's nothing to be afraid of. What are you afraid of? You're with me. We don't have fear. We're stoic. And then she'd see it and she'd start doing it, and then she wasn't shy or scared anymore. And I think that's how Daria is. But that's why we got to meet, so she'll realize Jenna's always strong anyway. But again, that's the difference. Jenna doesn't work. So she has time to text me where Daria does work and like now is going home and got to text me. So let's see. I like watching this John Stossel. He's also Austrian, talking about uh, what's his name? Trump said, I'm going to drain the swamp. And he got there and he didn't drain the swamp. He actually added more to the swamp. The swamp's Washington, and it's just like we're saying, everybody's on the bandwagon to take more money from the lobbyist. So he wants to drain it, but nobody's interested. You've got to blow it up. You've got to get rid of all the lobbyists. That would be the first thing: is get rid of the lobbyists, and then go to a gold back system where they can't just here's $1 million, right? So once you go to a gold back system, then everything you can't do, you don't have it. So that's the thing. So this is what is going on when the dollar collapses, right? All these military people will be broke. All the Warren Buffets and Gates will be broke. All the government guys will be broke because nobody has gold. They're not smart enough. So all these guys that are rich now will be poor. We will be in control because we have the gold. And this is what Luke has to understand, and you guys should understand by now, is that the gold is going to make us very rich. And so, A, we're not gonna go broke holding on to this. And B, because we buy this, the value of this is gonna go up 100 times, and we'll be very wealthy with the gold. So it's a double thing. That's why I'm like, Luke, what do stop worrying about housing. Like you're not understanding. Because the medium of exchange goes from dollar to gold, that's it. You can't fuck with gold. That's the thing. You can't print the gold. Therefore, that's the safety. I was watching some idiot yesterday say, well, do you want to hold gold or money? And what do I tell you? I'm 99% in gold. I have a few $1,000s in the safe for bills. And that's it. And that's what you should be doing. 99% of your portfolio should be in gold. Why stocks? What stocks going to do for you? When the dollar collapses, the stock market's going to go to zero. What good is that? Bonds, you'll never get repaid. Even real estate, that's going to get crushed. And, money in the bank, good luck getting the money out because it's not going to have a value. So with all that said, where are you really going for it? So that's the biggest problem, is understanding this. And that's why I want to teach the class, but nobody gets it. And people, oh, the money's going to be fine. It's just like Madoff. Well, I'm sure I'm sure he's got it invested somewhere. It's going to be fine. No, he's not going to go bankrupt and I'll lose all my money. I'm sure that thought never went through anybody's mind, that he's going to stop paying and I'll lose all my money. I'm sure that never went through any of the Madoff people. They just, because they're used to getting their money and they figure I'll just always get my money. That's what the Madoff people thought. That's what the politicians think. That's what these military guys and the Warren Buffets, well, money's always been here. It's not going anywhere. Yes, you take it off gold and you print and print and print. And the lobbyists are going to give you what? They're going to give you $1 million of monopoly money that you're not going to want. Now, if the lobbyists came in and started giving you, pounds of gold, okay, then welcome into my office. I don't want your dollars. So really, that's what's happening. So as I read this, as I watch these videos, Venezuela is socialist, and I love when people say they're not. And Zimbabwe is not socialist. Argentina is not socialist. Brazil's not. I mean, it's like you can see all these countries are socialist to a point. The businesses try to be capitalist. So, like in Germany, they sell the car. It's capitalism, right? They get it. It's really what it is. To clear it up, it's the public sector versus the private sector. So if all your businesses are private sector, you're capitalist. And the problem is when they start stealing the money and giving it away to the poor and taking, let's do pensions and 401ks and, free healthcare. That's the socialist part of them stealing, because you made all this money in capitalism, but then we're going to take part of it. That's the socialist part. And in the US, we're very socialist with the Obamacare, which is very social. All the stuff, the schools, very socialist. And the more Biden does is very socialist. So anytime you hear the government is going to control something, that's socialism, and that's bad. You need the free market to run things. At the free market, you don't need the government in education. You don't need them to build streets. You don't need them for 401ks. You don't need them for medical, which they shouldn't be involved with medicine. It should all be private. Let the free market handle it. We know how to handle it. And that's really the battle. And that's why they say, oh, no, there's no socialism in Venezuela or East Germany or, wherever this African guy is going to be. No, no, no. Our socialism will work. Or if the government's going to run the market, it's impossible for it to work because we make too many decisions that benefit us. That's the point of it. Anyway, so that's really it. Is they'll say, and then I start figuring, well, when the leader says it's not socialist, who do you think is going to benefit? The socialist leader is going to benefit it because he's going to sit there and say, no, 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 it'll work here. And then I can steal all the money because the leader's the one that steals all the money. And then you got George Soros backing that up. So when you have a corrupt leader who's run by George Soros, you have socialism and he steals all the money. And then you don't have free markets or good laws. You have high taxes and you're fucked. I mean, look at the US. We have terrible schools. And it's causing the kids all these problems because they're not learning they're not learning capitalism, they're learning socialism. So they all want to be socialists because they want the handout. They don't realize without capitalism, there is no money to hand out because you don't have a market. Without a market, you don't have choice. What the fuck do you want to live in hell for? And I can only tell you, if you don't want to listen, then you don't. But if you don't want to believe Venezuela's socialist and East Germany was socialist, what am I supposed to tell you? If you don't believe that was it, and that's why they failed, and it doesn't matter if it's so the African guy's trying to say, well, yeah, but in Africa, the socialism will work. It's not East German socialism. There is no, it's one thing. MMT equals Keynesian is socialism. It's government run, and government run can never work. And it's been proven 1,000 times. And they still do it. And that's what the central bank problem is. It is socialist. And that's the problem with it. And they need to make it capitalist. And it used to be there'd be 3 or 4 banks that would print money. And if one printed too much, caused inflation, you'd get away from that and go to the other ones. Central bank comes in and they have the monopoly on printing. Well, there's the problem. Now we have massive inflation all over the fucking world because you have all the central banks, which are socialist. Even though it's a capitalist economy, it's a socialism system because then they go, oh, it's best if we keep interest rates here and we give money to here and here. And no, we don't want gold. Well, in the market, gold's the best thing. Look what BRICS is doing. Look what Russia, China, and all these countries have all the gold. Don't tell me it doesn't work. Greg Jan, TK, who is going to win the World Series? Notre Dame. So you don't really know what, the central. So when the guy says, well, you come to socialism to bail you out. Well, we don't come to it. It puts us in the situation. We could have had free market solve it, but they had the Federal Reserve bail them out because the Federal Reserve put them in. The government with the socialist agenda fucked the banks over. But we didn't go to socialism as the help. The socialism got us into it. And now the socialists are the ones saying, oh, no, no, we'll bail you out. Well, that's not socialism. And it's not like we went to socialism to bail out because the capitalism didn't work. The capitalism works just fine. The socialism is what caused the banks to collapse by letting everybody get loans that didn't have good credit scores, didn't make money, couldn't afford it. That's not the free market. Who did it? So he needs to step back. But it's not like socialism. We went to socialism to solve the capitalist problem. That's a bunch of bullshit. It's just the way the government is socialist set it up that the central bank will bail you out. Well, we could have gotten bailed out without that. We could have cut all the loans and gotten rid of all the bad loans and just kept the good loans and just reduced it. But instead, the central bank was there to bail them out. So that's what happens. So Anyway, what else? So Venezuela, social, the dark side of Canada. We talked about why people want to leave but can't. They can't afford it. They were sold a bill of goods that Canada is good, but it's very socialist there. Too many government run things. The housing is government run. It's too expensive. So people get there, spend a lot of money to come into the country, and then realize they can't make any, they can't make money, and the housing's very expensive, so they don't have anywhere to live, and the insurance is very expensive. It's just very socialist. So the government runs everything. It's very expensive, and they're stuck. They can't get out because they don't have any. They can't make money. They can't get a job and make money there, um, which is wrong. I mean, I'm sure I could get a good finance job there because everybody always needs somebody to do budgets and finance and stuff like that. I got a call for another GM job yesterday, and I'm not. I don't hold my breath anymore. I'm trying to get this class up and running, and then football's around the corner, and I do quite well in football. I've had people with me for 5, 6 years, where like Nick, and you just they get it. No, 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 he's the best. They know that, and they pay for it. But that's why I might do the class instead of charging on the site. I don't know. I might do both because not everybody who comes to the site to buy has time for the class. And if you can't be on, Sunday morning or, whatever to watch the class to bet, but you want to, you can just go in Thursday night and pay and see the picks out there. But you don't have time for the class or you're out for the weekend. You just want the picks. So I think I'll have to leave them both out there. But the class should be more economics with football. And then when we do this on football, we'll just give a couple games away. And mostly I'm teaching processing, which is basically bet Mahomes, bet Joe Burrow, bet Herbert most of the time. There's times you don't, but 90% of the time, it's hard when Mahomes is a 14-point favorite to Denver. I don't want to bet Mahomes. But when he's a dog to these other guys, then you want to bet him. And so the point spread determines if we bet Burrow and Mahomes or if we stay away. I think if Aaron Rodgers is healthy, I love the Jets this year. They'll be a very strong dog. I loved them last year about the first 6, 7 weeks, and Zach Wilson just couldn't do it. I don't know why. He was a good quarterback. He's on Denver now, but he has no chance against Bo Nix. Bo Nix reminds him of Drew Brees, so I'm sure Bo Nix, and he's a fabulous quarterback. So again, the new quarterbacks and the new coaches, we're going to watch about 4 weeks before we do anything. And then we'll start going up. How's Caleb going to do? I think he'll be a bust. We'll give him 4 weeks. Drake May, anytime he's favored, I'm betting against him. Anytime JJ McCarthy's favored, I'm betting against him. Anytime Caleb's favorite, I'm betting against him. I will take Jordan Love. The Lions, I'll only bet over because I can't trust their defense. Philly, I don't know. What are we going to get with Philly? Who's the coach now? And then Jalen Hurts. Guy went 1-7. I'm not about to bet on that guy. Buffalo should be okay. Miami, take only against bad teams. And off you go. Lamar only against bad teams. With weak defenses, can I bet Lamar? Pittsburgh should be interesting. We got to see Russell Wilson. I think he's fabulous, and I see how they're going to play Fields to run back punts and kickoffs. I love it. That shows you how stupid the Bears are. They made him the quarterback. Pittsburgh gets him, says, "Yeah, you're going to run kicks back. We got a real quarterback in Russell Wilson." So they didn't even get Fields as a quarterback. They got him as a punt returner, kickoff returner. Sort of like Joe Theismann used to do that when he first started the league. Nobody wanted him as a quarterback, and he was running punts back. So we'll go down the list, but basically the new guy like Washington, Daniels, we got to see. We know Steve Young is going to suck at Carolina. I'm not expecting anything different there. I mean, you got to realize 95% of these rookies won't even play. They might, I'd say about 30% make the team. And of that, about 15% are special teams or backup linemen or something. And you maybe get one starter out of your draft. And then the second guy is like a backup where he might play as a fourth wide receiver. But if you think Marvin Harrison's just going to come in and light it up at Arizona, you're out of your mind. Um, and then you got all these quarterbacks. I mean, Bo Nix should do something. Penix, is he going to see the field? He will, but not right away. And then Caleb's going to suck, and so is the other two. Drake May, what are you expecting from Drake May? 6 touchdowns and 20 interceptions, 20% completion rate. He was going to run a lot. He'll get 600-700 yards running. Just like Hurts and just like Caleb, or just like Lamar. Caleb doesn't really run. So these guys who want to run aren't going to do shit. We've already seen that story, and it never works. So that's where you're at with it. So again, the expected outcome in football is easier, but we've got to be patient. Just like gold. We know gold's going to 10,000, 20,000. We just have to be patient. Right now, the paper gold is being held down, but next week we will see the announcement and we will see gold start to run, because of when they announce the gold standard, the dollar goes out. And they're trying to do everything to not let the gold standard come out, because the U.S. knows when that's out, the dollar's gone. And all these countries are going because of the gold. They're not going for Russia, China. They're going, it's a gold-backed currency. Once that's it, then the game's over. And so be patient. If for some reason they don't, I mean, it's already been green lighted. So as far as what Mark McGuire is telling us, it's green lighted and it's on the table and it will come out, just like Zimbabwe came out. And I don't see how it won't. And I don't know what Saudi Arabia is dicking around with. They're waiting to see something. I thought they were against the U.S., so I don't know what they're doing now. Or we're going to give them nukes so they can stay. And, it's still not going to help the dollar, because people are already buying oil in yuan. And when the gold comes out, they're going to take the gold. They're not going to take the dollar. Is Marvin Harrison any good? Well, he was okay at Ohio State, nothing great. And, he's a good receiver, but he's, the kid Rice at Kansas City's better, put it that way. At least he's better now. He's going to struggle because he's on Arizona, who doesn't have a coach, and Kyler Murray, who runs around. So, he might do okay because he's a receiver, doesn't throw interceptions, but he's not going to be what you think he's going to be. He'll catch 50 balls for 500 yards and a few touchdowns. Look at Olave. Olave's better. He's on New Orleans. Then you look at Smith Najima from Ohio State, who sucks. And I don't know why people thought he was good when Olave was the better receiver. All of a sudden, he had a good Rose Bowl, and everybody thinks, oh, he's great. But watch all the games. See, I hate when people don't watch all the games, or they watch an all-star game and they think the guy's good. You're like, fucking watch the Michigan-Ohio State game. Then you can tell me how good J.J. Walker is, or the other C.J. Stroud. Watch him in that game and you'll go, yeah, he sucks. You can't look at the Georgia game when he never ran before he starts running. But he doesn't run much on Houston. Who do you think is going to be the best draft pick? Well, I think the best draft pick is Penix, but I don't think he'll play a lot. I think it'll be Bo Nix next year. And the receivers won't do anything. The running backs, I think Denver will have a very good team, and I think Bo Nix and that running back Augustine from Notre Dame will have a good year because they'll have to play Bo Nix to pass. But I think Bo Nix will be the best. Penix, if he gets in there, will be outstanding. And if I'm Atlanta, I'm trading Kirk Cousins. I don't want this guy. He sucks. I mean, he couldn't win with Jefferson. He's not going to win at Atlanta. You got to get rid of him. He's just bad. He's just not good. He's never been good. He sucked at Washington. How he went to Minnesota, I don't know, but he sucked there. They didn't win any playoff games. He lost to the fucking Giants. What kind of guy? This guy gives up a lot of interceptions, can't read, not a good quarterback. I mean, he's nowhere near Josh Allen, and he's not even near Lamar. I mean, Lamar's not good, but he's not even close to that. So if they keep with Cousins, they're in trouble. That's all I can say. They won't do shit. But Penix, they'll do good with Penix. Why did they? Well, they paid him all the money because they didn't think they were going to get Penix. They weren't going to trade up. So they figure, well, Penix will go and Bo Nix will go because they were picking 8th or something. They said, well, there's no way a Penix is going to be there. So when he fell to 8th, they could get him. They grabbed him because they knew he's a superstar. And so then they're like, well, Cousins was insurance because they didn't have a quarterback, right? So they needed one anyway. So they get Cousins because I need somebody, and I got rid of Riddler and Heineken. So I get Cousins, and then when Penix falls in our lap, we got to take Penix. And New England's going to go 0-17, picking up Daniels. That's the same. Whoever does their picking doesn't know what they're doing. They drafted Mac Jones, who I thought would be decent, but they have such a bad offensive coordinator and such bad receivers. They can't draft receivers. They can't draft running back. They can't draft anybody. They fell into Brady in the 7th round. That's Brady. It wasn't a first-round pick. They get him in the 7th. He's a nobody. He shouldn't have done anything. He sucked at Michigan. He was nothing that, obviously, if he was good, somebody would have picked him up in the first round. But he sucked at Michigan. So, they're picking guys that, are at small colleges ahead of Brady. And New England takes him, shows you how bad New England is, because nobody's drafting the guy because he's really not that good. He gets good in the pros somehow, but he wasn't good in college. And I remember watching Michigan. I was like, what the fuck's Brady doing? I remember saying that. Oh, the Brady Bunch kids out there. Oh, great. Well, we lost this game. You had absolutely no thought that they're winning the game because of Brady was out there. You wanted Drew Henson. So New England doesn't know how to draft at all. And there is J.J. Daniels, Drake May. He's going to be Thurston Howell. He's going to be Mitch Trubisky. Join the club, guys. You just drafted Mitch Trubisky, number 2, or Thurston Howell. And yet they'll keep drafting these guys from North Carolina who suck. For some reason, they keep drafting them, and they love them, and they never do any good. It's like what I say with the Ohio State guys. They never do any good. And now the Alabama guys can join that list because it's a system. And when you get into the pros, that's a college system. This is a pro, and you need the pro, and they don't know how to read. Can't read coverages, can't read defenses. Therefore, they suck. And that's the problem with it. So, anyway. So, yeah, I think right now to be Bo Nix. If Penix were to start, then I would say Penix. Penix is better than Bo Nix. They're both very good, and they're both much better than Caleb or May or J.J. Walker. And that leaves Daniels, which he had Brian Kelly and LSU with all the speed and all the receivers. Don't forget, they had 2 top 20 receivers drafted. And he's now at Washington that doesn't have any top 20 college receivers or running backs or anything. So he's going to run for his life at Washington. They have no coach. They have no offensive coordinator. It's a pathetic team. And that goes back to what I was talking about yesterday. Why is the owner at Washington? Is it to make money or to win championships? The owner's there to make money, like the Pistons owner. He's only there to make money because of the TV contract. And the TV contract should not be evenly spread among the 32 teams. It should be weighted. You win the Super Bowl, you get more money, because then there's the incentive. Right now, the incentive is, well, you can suck and you're still going to get the 132 of the TV contract. And your incentive is really, unless you're really good, is to not draft anybody and pay as little as possible, like the Detroit Lions do, and make more money. And that's what the Lions try to do, is they make more money. Once in a while, they mistakenly draft a Barry Sanders or Calvin Johnson, and it causes them to pay, okay, we'll have to pay those guys or we'll have a riot on our hands. And that's what they do. But mostly it's just they'll never re-sign. Look at, Slay, Darius Slay went to Philly. This other guy went, the running back at Philly's now at Chicago, Swift. They wouldn't re-sign him. So they keep coming up with cheap players. Even the guy that went to New Orleans had all those touchdowns a couple of years ago. They wouldn't re-sign him. He wanted $1 million too much. They didn't re-sign him. So they got Montgomery from the Bears cheap. And then they drafted a guy and they're on the salary contract. So what the Detroit Lions try to do is get the rookie contracts. And then once they are up for the renewal, it ain't going to happen. So Goff is gone, and, half their line will go, and they don't have anybody on defense. Will they sign the Michigan defensive end? Maybe. Nobody else on their defense is any good anyway. So I don't see they're all replaceable. The defensive coordinator should have went. That was a surprise. The head coach won't last because now they play good teams and they won't do it. He'll make mistakes. See, he's got to pay for the mistakes. You went for fourth down too many times. It cost you a Super Bowl. And you have to pay the piper. You have to realize what he did shows you he doesn't know what he's doing. So in the big games, he doesn't know what he's doing. He's been lucky to have a weak schedule. But that's going away. Now people are seeing how to play him. They see the defense sucks. CeeDee Lamb, 250 yards. Jefferson, 250 yards twice. The Tampa guy who never caught 200 yards in his career gets 200 yards. Pukanuka, 100 catches for 500 yards. And then finally in the playoff game, Ayuk catches the one off the face mask, and he gets 150 yards. And it's just they give up 30 points to Brock Purdy. I mean, forget about it. So you needed to fire the defensive coordinator. You didn't do it because you don't know what you're doing. You're not a good head coach. You're a good motivator, apparently. I don't know. You get the team up, maybe. I'm not really sure. And you have a good offensive coordinator, so you score points. You have a terrible defensive coordinator. But when it's focused on you, you don't know what you're doing. Okay, this is the coach's play. Oh, we're going to go for 2 against Dallas. Oh, you had offsides. Well, we're still going to go for 2. Dude, it's 7 yards away. You're not going to make it. Then it's like, well, it's against San Francisco. Let's go for fourth down. Yeah, we're winning by 14 points. We could kick an easy 35-yard field goal. Let's go for it. And you don't get it. 2 plays later, touchdown, fumble, touchdown. You just cost them the fucking Super Bowl because you don't know what you're doing. You don't know when to do it and when not to, who to do it against and who not to. You don't go for 2 against Baltimore. You don't go for 2 against Dallas. You don't go for fourth downs. You don't do it against these strong defensive teams, the Niners, Kansas City, Cincinnati. You don't do it. Pittsburgh, it isn't going to work. But since you're playing Carolina and Atlanta, it might work because these guys suck. They don't have good defenses. So when you get a better schedule like you're going to have better defenses. And all the bullshit that you do isn't going to work. The fake punts, the go for twos. I've never seen a team so unorganized that they fake punt so much and they fake field goal and they go for two and they go for fourth downs. That's minor league shit. Very, very rarely do any good coaches. Don Shula, Lombardi, the only time he went for it on fourth down was in the Ice Bowl when they were down 3 points and they won the game because even there was no guarantee of kicking the field goal on that field. So they went for it, but they had to, right? It was 16 seconds left and you got the ball at the 1. Well, okay, but otherwise during the game, you never did. And if he didn't, and Bill Walsh didn't, and these guys don't do it because they're good coaches. I'll bet you Bill Parcells never went for fourth down. When you got a guy named Lawrence Taylor on your team, the odds on you going for a fourth down, you'd have to have your head examined. I mean, why would you just punt the ball and let Lawrence Taylor get you the ball back? Let him get 3 sacks and you get the ball back 30 yards farther up and then try it again. Hopefully you're not left with 4th and 1 or 4th and 2. See, you got to play to your personnel. And since the Lions have nobody on defense, and apparently they don't have a good kicker, so they make up this bullshit of going for it on fourth down or going for 2-point conversions. What was the strategy against Dallas? You fuck up the lineman going in. The wrong guy says it to the ref. He says 70's eligible because 70 went up to him. I mean, hey, and then they don't get it, and then they get the ball to 70. Still going for it. Just kick the extra point, go to overtime. What the fuck's your problem? Well, the analytics say if we go for it, we'll make it 50.1% of the time. So the odds are in our favor, and it's just like the MMT boys. There's no consequence for overprinting the dollar, except for the inflation, and nobody wants it, and we go broke because these idiots, for some reason, are in charge, these Keynesians, and they're fucking up the country. And that's exactly what you have. So you got a bunch of fuck-ups. So you have to desperately get back to gold here because it's out of control. The asylums are running the prison, right? The Joker, the Riddler are running America, and they just want chaos, and they're getting it. Because why else is the U.S. blowing itself up? It just really doesn't make any sense. It's the stupidest thing I've ever seen. And what are you going to do? I mean, it's just, we're blowing ourselves up. It's, what can I say? I can see it crystal clear. Any Austrian economist, and there's not a lot of us, can see it crystal clear. If you print the money, it'll go to zero every time, including the fucking Romans. And you can see 400 or 500 times you've had fiat currencies not backed by gold, and they've every time went to zero. And we can see Venezuela, and we can see Zimbabwe, and we can see Nazi Germany, and we can see Argentina and Brazil and Sri Lanka and Greece. How come it happened there? Every time it happened. And then the stupid African guy thinks, yeah, but you got bailed out. That's socialism. It's not socialism, buddy. If you had capitalism, you wouldn't have gotten into the problem you got into. So socialism got you into the problem. Going to the central banks to bail them out, that's a socialism thing, I believe. But the banks run the government, so again, you gotta dig in a little bit deeper that the central banks basically bailed themselves out because the government forced them to take the bad loans. So it's the socialism that got them into trouble. And then going to the central bank, you're going to the government for help. You didn't need to. You could have just let them fail. And then that's what should have happened. You shouldn't have went to the central bank to bail them out. You should have just should have let them fall. You're broke. Sorry. You made bad loans you shouldn't have done. Well, I was forced to. Well, still. All right. So I think that's it. www.teaserking.com. You'll see there's a baseball box up there, but I don't have any games in it yet. But if you want to play some games, let me know. I give you my picks for now. I'll start putting them up there soon. And then class will be 25 for class. What I'll do is I'll do a private, and I'll put in the emails of whoever wants the class. And then I don't know if you'll know I'm on or not, but you'll probably see me on, but you won't be able to get in because it'll be only to the emails of the people that paid. And will I still do this? I don't know. We'll have to see how many people sign up, how many classes I give out. We'll see. But my goal is to hit the highlights on this. The Brics, Brics has gone out with the gold back currency. That's just news. You're going to know that anyway, so I'll probably talk about that. Anyway, I think that's it. www.teaserking.com. We're less than a week away. Next Tuesday should be the good news. Go Brics, beat Navy. If you're going to bet, you got to bet on Russia and China. I mean, how can you not bet on Putin? He's automatic from inside 50. So, all right, everybody, have a good day. Hope you're well. Watch your sugars. Take care. All right. Enjoy.